A shout out to Ge.Holla and
Hey, GeHolla, G.Holla.
Ge.Holla, shout me to God here, man.
All y'all said entertainer, shout out my guy Ge.Holla of MycelebrityLife.
Blog Talk Radio.
Don't talk, just pop out. Don't hide, bitch, pop out. If I pull up and hop out, do no talking, just pop off. Pop out, pop out, pop out, pop out. Do no talking, just pop off. Pop out.
You can Snapchat me at K-Sign J. You can Snapchat me at K-Sign.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about for that earlier ratchetness. We're going to keep it classy today. Let me make sure I got all my callers on the line before I call up Mr. Eric, Jerome, Dickey. Somebody calling from the 706 area code. Last four is 4736. It's this Marley Box, a.k.a. DJ Nico.
That is DJ Nico, Mr. Marley Box. I'm here.
No doubt. Let me put you back on pause, brother. I just want to make sure I got everybody. I believe I have the lovely Madam Lacaria Foster, psychic medium extraordinaire of the gift. How you doing?
I'm here.
Okay, cool. Let me call them up. Thank you all for holding. Let me find some classic music y'all can listen to. Sorry for all the hood ratchetness. You know. Let's see who we got. Okay, we got a little Tasha Scott. She used to be on South Central, all these different TV shows back in the day. So I'm put you back on hold. Thank you, Mrs. Foster, for tuning in and calling in. All right, here we go. Lacaria Foster. Let me get Eric, Jerome, Dickey on to the line. Thank you all for holding.
We can get together like right now. So tell me if you're with it. I just booked a plane ticket. Me and you, oh yeah, that's winning. And it don't matter where we go. Whether passport to Rico, passport stamps to Rio, all the way down, here we go, we go. Yeah, when we have a dream, up in the clouds with you, that's all I need. Your arms around me, I feel like I'm free. Let me put you in a nice Cali King. I wanna take you wherever you please. Ocean to ocean, live deep down in me. Riding the wave that I want you to see. All the way down, here we go, we go. I just wanna be right now with you right now. Going down on me like tidal waves. Back and forth all night, I gotta say. When we go hard, it's a symphony. Yeah, when we have those dreams. Up in the clouds with you, that's all I need. Your arms around me, I feel like I'm free. Let me put you in a nice Cali King. I wanna take you wherever you please. Ocean to ocean, babe, deep down in me. Riding the wave that I want you to see. All the way down, here we go, we go. I just wanna be right now with you right now. sleeping tonight. 'Cause it won't be with me, babe. Tired of thinking about you when you don't think about me, babe. Do you care at all, babe? Do you even go through withdrawals about me? Loyalty is all I need, and some of you can't provide my needs. What am I supposed to do when you tell me things and they're not the truth? I'm sick and tired of you. Pack your bag 'cause I'm through.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all welcome back. I think for all my special panel co-hosts that have called in today, we do have the man, the myth, the legend, the master, the great griot, Mr. Eric Jerome Dickey. He is on the line. Eric, let me tell you, brother, I appreciate you, man. I want to tell you, you came into this conscious reality, and you set the Melanin Nation on fire with your books and your reading, your knowledge, and information. And I know that you are the hey, man, you are. You're a great reincarnation of the past. I know great teachers like you. I know you came to this planet more than once. I don't know if you believe in that type of thing.
Man.
I definitely believe that you are a resurrection of something great that we've seen on the walls in Kemet in Africa. I know you are.
Oh my God! This is the best intro ever. Best intro ever. They like me. They really like me. You know. do a little Sally Fields up in there. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
You know what? I'm just trying to enjoy doing what I do while I do it, man. It may sound like a simple way of summing it up, but you know, it's this thing when you get to actually do something that you really enjoy doing, and you can be creative in the way that you want to be creative. I was having a conversation with a writer yesterday, and we were both saying like the best part of it is that part when you're just creating, and it's just you before all the editing and before it goes out into the world, where you just sit there with an idea, you work it, and and everybody has the same thing. It's like you're on page 1, and it's, how do I get to page 320? You know, it seems so far away. You know what I mean? But it's poco a poco, little by little. You know what I mean? But
right.
but you have an idea, and you stick to it. You're dedicated to it, and you see it through. I mean, I've had a couple of books that I was working on it, and I was like, am I going to finish this book? I mean, because it just seemed, for whatever reason, it just seemed so difficult at the time. I guess for some that would be writer's block, but for me it could have been in a couple of situations it was bad planning so far as the plot, and then I finally figured it out probably 2 or 3 months later, and then and then wrapped up the project. But it's I don't know, man. I didn't see this career coming. I used to be an engineer. Worked aerospace for 9 years, and then had this interest in creative writing. Started taking the classes at a junior college. I started off, I started taking classes at a junior college. Well, actually, you know what's funny? Because it was a friend of mine named Jackie who she wanted to take classes at a junior college out here in California. And she asked me to go take the class with her because it was on Monday nights, and I was usually free on Monday nights. And she wanted me to go with her so she wouldn't be the only black person in the classroom.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and I went begrudgingly. I really didn't want to give up my Monday night. You know what I mean? I did, and then I got into this class, and it was like I was at home. It felt like I was at the place I was supposed to be. There was a lot of stuff I didn't understand the terms technically, but everything that was presented to me made sense. I was already doing short stories and stuff like this, but it just really, wow, man. And just from there, I just went from class to class to class. joined an organization called International Black Writers and Artists out here in Los Angeles. The organization I'm still a part of. I still take stuff during workshop, just like I did day one, and from there, they gave me a partial scholarship to go to a UCLA extension program to take creative writing. So I jumped into a very intense pond. I mean, with it's like you're in a room. And again, I had the same feeling that my friend Jackie had, because I was at UCLA and I would be the only African American in the classroom, and it'd be 12, 13, 14 people writing 14 different genres.
Wow!
But the good thing about it was it made you read stuff by other people that you wouldn't normally read.
Okay.
And it made you read genres that you wouldn't normally read, and you would see the thing that good storytelling has in common: character development, movement of plot. It doesn't matter if you've got dragons or guns or boy meets girl, boy loses girl. It all has the same elements of pulling in the reader, them not being bored.
That's right. That's right. Engaging. I got you.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be engaging in some sort of way. I mean, and some writers would just have style, and they could just write a grocery list, and just the way they wrote would just make you just want to read it. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And then I would get some writers. They could write a whole bunch of pages, but it was just never really interesting because they were very almost like they were too technical. Like
computer reading, like the coding.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's almost
analytical.
Like, you know what? It's like you get some cats who come in who are writing from the heart and haven't had a lot of. They've had some training, but not a lot, and not so much training where it just totally disrupts their style. And it's just so engaging to read, the way they write, the rawness of it, what they write about. Then you get somebody who comes in and they're just so technical about every sentence, and you're reading and go like, people don't really speak that way. I mean, I get what you're doing, but then you get somebody who comes in and, I mean, this is really basic, but you get somebody that comes in. And their character go, "What's up, dog?" And you go, "Oh, this is interesting to read." As opposed to one go like, "Hello, how are you? How was your night?" You kind of who talk? You know what I mean? You get somebody who comes in, and I think the word is authentic. You know what I mean? Because I would get that a lot. They were like, "Oh my gosh, your dialogue, you write the way people talk." Yeah. I mean, I got black people talking to each other. They're going to code switch later on in the book, but this is kind of how. but it was really interesting also being in that environment where you realize that I got 13, 14 white people or non-African American people who have never ever picked up anything by anybody, any person of color to read it. And so sometimes what I presented was shocking.
Oh, it's
it's like cause I had workshop parts. Oh gosh, man, please, man. I mean, if you're, I mean, it could be like, I mean, it didn't have to be anything super extreme. I mean, but it's like writing about a black person and police show up and there's this tension. And the black person, the black person knows that they haven't done anything, but there's a possibility I could be arrested for doing nothing. And white people in the class going like, I don't get it. I mean, why would that even happen? It's like, geez, man, you have no idea what my reality is like. You know what I mean? But,
totally disconnected.
But black people reading it, we get it.
We
You,
like,
don't,
oh
you,
yeah,
don't really, you don't have to do anything. I mean, there's a whole bunch of black people in jail because they were outside.
Yeah.
That
or
was
they
it. I mean, no, really, that was it.
They look like the suspect.
You were outside. If you hadn't been outside,
you would be
was
free
it.
right
You were
now.
outside. It was like a bad game of tag. You were outside. They saw you. You're it. You know. You're it. Tag. You're it. I mean, you know, but and it's really been it was really, I mean, even for me, I would read about other cultures. It's like Jewish writers and you know, and I would learn as well. I mean, and it was just oh gosh, because you know, you do one of these classes and then people turn in 10 pages each, and then so you've got 140 pages to read within the next few days, and not just read, but you have to critique. You know, which was, I mean, it was a really good learning experience. I mean, I learned some stuff to not do. I learned some stuff that I watched somebody else do it, and it would work for them, but I couldn't. But that technique wouldn't necessarily work for me. It's sort of like the comics, like Jerry Seinfeld can do observational humor, and it works for him. Tiffany Haddish probably can't just sit up, you know, probably couldn't do observational humor, and it would work for her and her personality, you know.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, it was just it was a fascinating journey. The growth, the trial and error. I mean, because you guys see a lot of stuff that that was published, but you know, I got stacks of stuff over here that I wrote. I was like, what was I thinking? I was like, geez, I don't want to show this to Ed, but I save it. You know what I mean? Got a couple of stories that were just they were just going on and on and on. I'm like, okay, so what is the point of this story? But you know, that's part of. It's part of the process. You know what I mean? I'm quite sure Stephen King and John Grisham and J.K. Rowling probably has, you know, just a bunch of stuff that didn't make it into, you know, J.K. probably has a bunch of ideas that didn't make it into Harry Potter because I thought it was a good idea. Probably not. You know what I mean?
That's right. Mm-hmm. No, I agree. It's kind of like coding, like when you started off being software developer. You got all these numbers. You could add all this stuff. You just like, do I want to sit at a computer for hours, days, years, building the early web?
I did software, so I did coding. Well, assembly and Fortran back in the day. But so to a certain extent, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's cool. Well, brother, I do got two other co-hosts. I want to be fair to them. They want to talk with you. They're some super cool people. One of them goes by the name. Her name is LaCaria Foster, and she's been on Oprah.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
LaCaria
Foster. She's been on Oprah. She's a psychic or medium,
God,
as you would call it, and she's a very big fan of yours. She also has a show called The Gifted. And LaCaria, you online with the master, the legend, the griot, Eric Jerome Dickey. Come on, tap on in. How you doing this afternoon, LaCaria?
Listen.
Hi, LaCaria. How you doing?
Pleasure. It's LaCaria, and I am wonderful. And can I tell you, like, I am just sitting up here enjoying this whole, just listening to you talk. I have probably read every single one of your books, and I have them in my library.
Thank you so much, LaCaria.
This is truly an honor. I often
same here.
Like, how did I get here? And so this is one of those spaces that I'm like, how did I get here? On this call with Mr. Eric Dickey. Like, really? Because they're like, hey, we want you to be a part of the call. And I'm like, all right.
Come on in. The motor area.
Yes, I'm a psychic medium. My show on YouTube is called The Gift, and I was just featured on Sister Circle for my gift of psychic mediumship.
Okay.
And I don't know that I have a question as much as if you have a question for me. I can kind of tell you some energies that I was picking up over the phone.
Go ahead. Tell me.
Well, one of the things that
go ahead. I mean, I've never spoken with anyone in your profession before.
Oh wow!
And I'm looking you up as
as we say. Last name is Foster.
No,
so
I wouldn't. I don't even know where to begin. Yeah. What vibes are you picking up?
Interestingly enough, the thing that came to mind, because I'm literally in my car, so I don't have my notebook in front of me. The words that came, there's a couple of things that came to mind, but one was that there was a divine interruption for you, like the word interruption came, and so I don't know if there was like an interruption of something, like you were doing one thing, and this could have been like in the last year, like you were doing something, you had a flow about it, and then there was an interruption. Would that be correct?
I can go with that. Yeah, I can go with that.
Okay. But
well, even going back, I mean, the career change. I would consider. I didn't at the time, but I can now consider being laid off from aerospace a divine interruption, because it definitely. You know it's funny because you have this job and you have the security, and sometimes that keeps you from pursuing other things because you're comfortable.
Absolutely.
So I was let go from that job, and then I lost my that comfort, that paycheck every Friday, and I really you reexamine self, say what do I really want to do now? I don't want to go back and do that. I mean, it was a great job, but I just kind of felt like that era was over for me, and going back and doing something that I really didn't want to do would have been betraying myself.
Absolutely, you had gotten in alignment with your soul's mission.
Yeah. I mean that's kind of how I feel. I mean, so yes, I would definitely say that it was a it's that thing that happened. You just sort of feel like the bird that did pushed out of the nest and was forced to fly, learn to fly. I knew it would be different. I didn't know in what ways, but I pressed forward and never looked back. Just like I was just saying, I joined the IBWA, International Black Writers and Artists in Los Angeles, and was taking classes at junior colleges, and then eventually at UCLA, and I just gradually. I mean, and it wasn't overnight. It was totally reinventing myself over years, and I mean, because I think what happened with a lot of people is like when there's change, we want it right now. We want it, and it's a process. I think I sort of looked at it like, for me to become an engineer, it took me at least 4 years.
Right.
So the freshman, the sophomore, the junior, and when I did a career change, I looked at it the same way. I went even at UCLA, even though I had creative writing classes before, I started with all the basics again, because I started with the basics again, because even if you're taking them again, because even no matter what class you've had, sometimes you miss something. It could be a small something, but I started over and just and this is what came of it eventually. I mean, and it was something that I did that there was no guarantee, but it was something that I really enjoyed doing.
And do you feel like
and I think that was probably the. Say it again.
I said, do you feel like you're now more in alignment with even when you were doing engineering?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I enjoyed engineering, but I would miss writing if I were no longer writing. I've never missed engineering to the point that it was just like I just want to go back, I enjoyed it for what it was, but, it was sort of like this dream job that I knew nothing about, engineering, and then I got it, and I saw what it was like, and I was like, okay. Okay, all right, enough of that. Let me find something else. But
Right,
because a lot of us do that. A lot of us do that because we idealize occupations that we know nothing about, or that no one in our family has had, but it just looks like a real good job. And then you actually when you get into any occupation, I mean, that can be just be an editor, a copy editor, or anything. And the day in and day out of it, depending on how you built and how you feel about it, you can either be an affirmation, yes, this is what I want to do, or it can be that, okay, I see what this is like. I don't want to do this anymore. I have friends who went to law school and went into family law, and that just wore them out because they said you in family court, there are no happy endings, and just doing that day in, day out for about 4 or 5 years, and I would see them, and they would just look just totally like a different person, but because it's just every day you're fighting, every day is this, every day is that. It's and you do this all day, every day, and you're defending your client, whether.
No,
say it again.
I think that the journey, especially through like our different, through education and through our vocations, all aspects of the journey. And I try to tell people, even in my spiritual coaching, that all of it is necessary, but all of it is supposed to lead us to remembering what our soul contract is. So your soul contract was to come and be a writer, but it took you, the journey and the vocation of being an engineer and all of these different things for you to wake up and really for your soul to wake up and say, oh, I remember now, this is what I came to do.
Right. Exactly. And I think it's like once you find it, it just feels so comfortable. It's hard work. I mean, it's funny because it's hard work because I work harder for myself than I have ever worked for anyone else. But and at the same time, it doesn't feel like work because it's just kind of hard to explain. It doesn't feel like work. Not the way other occupations have felt like I'm going to work. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, I write. My little office is upstairs. Say it again.
No, I said that's exactly how I feel about the work that I do when I get an opportunity to give people readings or give, work with my clients. It never feels like work.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's and your sense of accomplishment. For me, I would say after each novel, after each project, that sense of accomplishment is pretty high. But at the same time, it's like as soon as I finish something, I got to go work on something else. So I don't really get time to, I just finished a book. The next one's already due. Oh, say it again.
I said we are enjoying it, and we certainly don't want you to stop. So you keep cranking them out.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I mean, I love it. I enjoy it. I mean, it's funny because I sit around and think like, now if I was in Paris, I'd be working on a Gideon book. Just stuff like that. Or if I were in the Midwest, the Iowa, Nebraska. I was just researching the Iowa-Nebraska bridge about 30 minutes ago, and thinking about a scene for a character in a book to do on that bridge. But yeah, but it's always fun. I mean, and a good thing. I mean, for me, it's like I have an occupation. I write, but at the same time, I still get to learn a lot. I have to do a lot of research. And the way I've worked, I've done a lot of travel, so I've met a lot of people from all over the world. I mean, enough to definitely have an impact on my worldview. I've been out of the U.S. long enough to look at the U.S. from the point of view of other countries and go like, wow, that's what they see when they look at us, Wow. And I've been that. I was that black man who went to Paris and they called me American, and it was a shock to my system because I had never been called an American in my life. I was like, wow. I mean, and I was in Paris and they said, this is they just called me an American writer. Said, this is an American writer. That is Jerome Dickey, and I was like, American? Wow. I am. I know. I was like, I am American. I mean, but it's this thing is you're never called American here, and your disconnect is so strong that even if you're looking at a political rally and it's and for the most part, if it's white people and they're talking about Americans, you don't really feel like they're talking about you because they talk about Americans, but we kind of go until you say black people, we haven't been included in that conversation, you know.
Right.
And I mean, and it was, and I also was in Paris, and never forget, I was interviewed by a girl from the continent of Africa. I can't remember which part. I wish I did, because her first question to me, she was very, very serious, was, why do you call yourself African American if you're not from Africa? That was her first question. And it hit me hard. I don't even remember how I replied, but it was numbing. You know, I think I probably tried to throw a joke back that way, and the joke just didn't work because, no, she was serious, you know.
Right.
Because her thing was, you're not African. And Africa is, because it's that thing. It's like, you know, people from Africa don't call themselves African. You're Nigerian, you're Ghanaian, you're this, you're that. And so how can you be the whole continent?
Wow.
I mean, she was serious, man. And again, I was probably maybe on my second or third book. I was in Paris. I'd been invited to Paris, and I was just numb. I mean, she was serious, and then she was gracious, and then she finished the interview and she left. I remember sitting on this patio, all white walls, Paris, Eiffel Tower in the distance, and her walking away, and me sitting there with identity issues. You know what I mean? Just like
right.
I was like, I don't really know what the fuck I am. I'm like, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't really know what I am. I was like, wow. You know, I think I threw out some joke. Well, Jesse Jackson said that we're African Americans now, so and she would have no idea who Jesse Jackson is. So the joke just really didn't. Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, I mean, you know, but see again, and that's that perception. And I remember, here's another thing. I was in Argentina, and I was on a site. I'll never forget. I was talking to this vendor, and their broken, because I couldn't speak Spanish at the time. So in their rough English, asked me where I was from, and I told him I was from America. And then he says, no. He said, all of this is America, from the top to the bottom. So where are you from? And I was like, you know, and I didn't. I said, what do you? He's North America, Central America, South America. It's all the Americas. I'm American. I was like, wow. I had never thought about that. He's like, I'm American. I was like, oh, okay. Right. So I'm from the United States. He said, okay, that is better. That is better. I was like, okay, all right. I was like, okay, I didn't. You know, but these are the things you learn when you travel. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, right. Because some people are, oh gosh, man, you're real quick to be offended.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, and simply because of the way they view Americans, and once they know that you're American, you know, you're more or less, you're not bilingual. You expect people to speak English wherever you are. I mean, I didn't speak French. I didn't speak Spanish. I've gotten a lot better at Spanish. You know, I don't speak any of the tongues of Africa. So, you know, but at the same time, I've met some really, really, really wonderful and helpful people who have guided me through their cultures, you know, in a way that has been really beneficial to me as a writer.
Wow.
And also on a personal level, I mean, I was walking around. Oh gosh, I was walking around the streets of Argentina. Couldn't speak Spanish. All the signs are in Spanish. And I remember thinking, this is what it feels like to be illiterate. This is what my ancestors felt like when they came to America, and all the signs were. Everything was in English, and it just looks like gibberish. And I was navigating myself by landmarks. I would go places, but that building, that church, this is how I get from point A to point B, turning, because I couldn't pronounce any of the names of the streets, especially when I was in Paris, I remember I walked over to the Eiffel Tower and went up and came down, and then walking back, it was like, so I got to find this building, and then I turn this way, then I go that way, then I'm going to see this other building, and then my hotel is going to be not too far from there, you know what I mean? And I just imagined that was how our ancestors, made it through, made it through. I mean, because you couldn't read the signs, yeah. So basically, I'll say this is what it feels like to be illiterate, and I never wanted to experience that again. So as soon as I got back to the States, it was like I was in a Spanish class for about 4 years.
Wow. I think it's such a similar experience when I went to, I think I was in Puerto Rico for the first time, and they didn't speak English, and I had the audacity to get offended.
Yeah, well, you're in Puerto Rico,
right.
Yeah, I mean, because I was there. Cause if you're in the,
I had to check myself.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, that's the stereotype with Americans. You go places and it's like you go to France and you're mad because they're not speaking English. You're in France.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Puerto Rico was amazing. I was down there too. I went to the forts, shopped downtown, stayed at the La Conch. I can't think of the name of the hotel. There was a Starbucks nearby. Well, so far as familiarity, and rode the bus. The bus was only 25 or 50 cents to ride or something like that. Rode the buses, and I think we rode the train a couple of times, and just rode the train all the way out to the end just as tourists, and just looked at what was on the train, and then stayed on and came all the way back to the other part of the island. But yeah.
I was in Brazil for 10 days over the summer with my school. I'm getting a cert in divinity and in ministry, and we went to Brazil for 10 days. We went to Sao Paulo, and I think I had a deep appreciation for that. We didn't speak a lot of English over there either, but they didn't make any concessions.
Yeah.
It was like we had to learn some Portuguese. We were going to get around.
Right. Well, because if you're a lot of these spots, if you're not in the touristy area, a lot of the people who are bilingual will work in the touristy areas, meaning the hotel row, or if there's some central area that that they have designated for tourists, and you probably have 2 blocks of people who. And it's fun, isn't it funny? It's like, but it'd be the same way with us though. It's like everyone. If you run into somebody who speaks English, they speak a different subset of the language. So, I ran into a guy in Belgium. I was lost trying to change trains, and we had this long conversation. And I could tell that he had learned English at a university just by his language. It was just.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, I don't speak English that well. I was just like, I was impressed. And then he said yes. And then when you get on the train, you have to find a. And I was like, what do I have to find? I was like, then he couldn't think of the word for chair. But his stuff. But that's how it is with that's how it is with languages. I mean, if it's a word that you haven't used in forever, and it's not your native language, you'll like, what is the word for sidewalk? Sarah or something like that. You know, yeah, you'll yeah. But I mean, it's been, you know, so I've had some. This job has definitely gotten me out of the country, and I've gotten some wonderful experiences. I mean, even it's like that individual who I just met in passing and had a short conversation with. It stayed with me. I mean, I'm in Belgium at a train station having a conversation with somebody. You know what I mean? And you know, and I was like, I'll take things my ancestors were never allowed to do for 2,000, Alex. You know.
Right. Wow.
You know. Yeah, I mean, because I was in Amsterdam walking around. I mean, it's probably for the world traveler, these are probably minor things, but for me, considering that for me growing up, if we got in the car, well, first if somebody came by in a car and we went, you know, an hour and a half down to Mississippi, we felt like we had, you know, just gone to another world, to feel like we had gone to the other side of the country. You know what I mean? Because we could do Sunday trips. I mean, like on a Sunday morning and be back by Sunday evening, and you would, you know, you go to school and tell this story, and it make it sound like you just went around the world over the weekend. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
You know. Yeah, you know. Then summer, if I went from Memphis to Chicago, I mean, I got to ride the train all the way north, man, and you know, and all of that. So, yeah.
So what?
Yeah, and all those are great memories. All those are great memories, you know. But it's just that you get to traveling makes you. I think traveling makes you want to travel. Traveling takes away the fear of travel, because I think I know for me it was like a few places that I went. Again, this is probably as a black man. I mean, so I can imagine what it's like for a woman or a black woman. You know, you want to okay, where I'm going, am I going to be safe? You know, am I going to be safe? You know what I mean? Because I'm in another country. I'm in this. You know, again, like like the jokes I said earlier. You know, about the cops pulling you over for no reason here. Because I'd be like, so how do they treat black people that over there? And I remember being places and it was, and this is a really weird feeling. It was just, I remember being places and I just felt like a human being. You know, it was just genuine. Everybody else's attitude and this, that, and the other, and you didn't feel like you were somebody black in a white space or nothing like that. I was like, wow, I am really relaxed. You know, I was like, wow, man. I mean, you know, because even now here, I live in L.A. If I go to the Grove, which is a really nice shopping area, I'm in a white space, and I think that part of my mind is. Behavior and this, that, and the other. If you go in the store, don't do anything that looks suspicious. And I'm way beyond that age, but you grow up with that and it just kind of sticks with you. You know what I mean? You know, it's like it just kind of sticks with you. You know. Don't touch nothing unless you're going to pick it up and buy it. You know.
Right. I felt the exact same sense of ease and relaxation in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt that in Quebec. I mean, I was like, wow, this is really, it's sort of like, it's like I went up to a register and I didn't feel like the girl felt like she was looking at somebody black. She was just looking at the next customer.
Right, and I wonder if it's because there was not that, they don't have the same race relations that we've had in the United States.
No, they don't. A lot of places don't. I mean, you don't see in these places where it's like, at least online, if you're looking, you don't see other countries with barbecue Becky's and everything else, where, or someone just sitting down in Starbucks waiting on somebody and they call the cops on you. And the thing is like, you get these frivolous calls and then the cops still take you away. You haven't done anything, but the cops still take you away. You know what I mean? So that's why I said earlier. So there's a lot of black people in jail for just being outside. The brothers were outside, and somebody called the cops. That was it. I mean, what did you do? I was outside. That was it. You know, and that's why your mom would say, stay your ass in the house.
Don't go anywhere.
I want to go outside, Mama. No, stay your ass in the house. And you didn't get that growing up. It's like, all right, because, because if you go outside, I might lose you.
Exactly.
I mean, so just places where you didn't really, great restaurant service, wasn't rushed or didn't feel that, you walked into places and nobody was asking you to pay before your food came.
Absolutely.
All the stuff that we've had. All right, you gotta. We need your money before we put your order in. Really?
Right.
That's our new policy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, we've seen all this and been through all that and blah 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 blah. And I'm not saying all these other places are perfect, and there's probably no utopia for people of color, and a lot of those other spots you don't have any political power, but still at the same time you're just like, wow, I'm just. It's just a different feeling. I mean, and that's a good thing from from traveling to. It's just like, man, because a lot of stuff you kind of you wonder, it's like there should have been a mass exodus and everybody should have gone, but wherever you go, you got to have that ability to thrive, to eat, and if you're in America, capitalism or something like that. So, but it's
What is next for you? And I know we have another co-host on the line, but what is next for you?
Well, the next book is Bad Men, Wicked Women, which is actually a prequel to no, it's not. It's Before We Were Wicked. I'm getting two titles mixed up, which is a prequel to the novel that just came out last April called Bad Men and Wicked Women. What I did was there's a key relationship in Bad Men and Wicked Women between one of the protagonists, Ken Swift, and his ex-wife, and it started in the 90s. So for this one, I went back and wrote about them meeting at a club in L.A. in the 90s, and she was on her way to Harvard, but she was taking a gap year. She's Ethiopian. He's African American, and he's a bad boy doing some bad boy stuff so he can pay his way through UCLA because he thinks, I do wrong for a couple of years and then my life will be right. And she and they start this. They meet at a club and have this hot and heavy relationship. I mean, and because for her it's this fantasy, to get out of the parents' house, to have this secret, to know what it's like to make love with an American man, because that's how she sees him. And it gets hot and heavy, it gets too deep, and she ends up pregnant. She breaks up with him. Finds out she's pregnant, then she's got to go back to him. And and just charting that relationship because she has she has revealed to her parents that their virtuous daughter isn't a virgin and has been sneaking to see this black American, and her family is her family. I'm not saying Ethiopians, but her family. They're Ethiopian, but they don't think much of black Americans at all. So this is probably, and to her dad, this is the worst thing that you could have possibly done. And you brought, and they have that kind of family. You have brought shame on this house. You got to go. So And so one moment she's on track to go to Harvard. The next, she's living in an apartment with this guy that she barely knows, and she's pregnant. And she's getting ready to have his baby, and so she has she just has it's this thing. It's like you imagine your life going a particular way, and it's not going in that direction. And she's watching her friends. They're going to Harvard. They're going to Princeton. They're going to Yale. They're they're freshmen, sophomores, they're graduating, and she just has so much resentment because she feels like her life has been stolen, and she's become a mom, you know. Which is, you know, there's a lot more. There's a lot more to it. I mean, but it's that the culture clash, because her parents see the world as like this. It's Ethiopians, white people, then Black Americans, and then everybody else.
Yeah, I could understand that. In that order.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I mean that's how it is. I mean, because even in the book she says they would have rather had come home with a white man. You know, and in some ways, if she had come home with a white man, they would have seen it. They would have approved of it because you can move up in the world. And so, for their perspective is if you're with the Black American male, nothing good can come of that. So, yeah, I mean, so it charts their story. I mean, you know, they got a kid, they get married, but it just charts that hot and heavy and rugged relationship. I mean, there's a lot of passion there. I mean, there's a lot of passion, but then at the same time, there's a lot of resentment, and they're both young. She's, I think he's 21, and she's up in the club with a fake ID, pretending to be 21.
Right.
Yeah, I think she's 18 with a fake ID up in the club. She'd never been to a club on the Sunset Strip. She's got the fake ID. She's in the club. She meets a good-looking American dude, and you know,
well,
and
that
it's.
That is all the time I have. I know we have another co-host that has a couple of questions, but I thank you. It is, again, such an honor to be on the line, and I can't wait for the new books to come out, and I wish you well. Thank you.
Thanks, Lakara. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Lakara. Next co-host goes by Marley Box, a.k.a. DJ Nico. We have a special gift for you, too, as well, so I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell him about it. DJ Nico, you still with us on the line, brother?
Yes. How you doing, sir? Mr. Dickey, this is a great honor. My name is Nico Marley, and, man, I've been a fan for going on 20 years now. I've read most of your work.
Oh, my God.
The work speaks for itself. I mean, 11 bestsellers, the awards. I mean, it was such an honor. I was really humble when GeHolla asked me to be involved with this. It was amazing to me. I couldn't be any happier. Thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Trust me, I appreciate it all. I appreciate it all, every word.
I do believe, and this is one thing we were talking about before, I do think when it's all said and done that you will go down in this generation, you know, as the Hughes and the Baldwins and the Zora Neale Hurston. I do think you will be in that conversation for this generation. So I really appreciate all your work. And I just got a couple of, I do want to ask a couple questions about how you come up with your ideas and your journey, and you're so responsible to the culture. I listened to you talk earlier, and you talked about some of the different cultures and how they helped you grow and the things you learned. And one of the things that sticks out to me from reading your work is like you always show like a cultural responsibility to every culture that you showcase. It's never in a negative light.
I think I'm really careful about that. Even if someone from another culture is an antagonist, I don't portray their culture as being something negative. I mean, you can be the bad guy, but your culture, is still good. I mean, because you don't want you don't want someone, and it's not your intent to to write a review that you're attacking their culture. You know what I mean? Because I have characters from Nigeria, Botswana, Ghana, Argentina, and I always have some of their history in there. I mean, like for example, like I had a character in one of the stories. She was from Argentina, and she's hiring assassins to take out a few people. But she gives you her backstory about how in Argentina they had the dirty wars back in the 80s, and the government, the juntas, disappeared like 30,000 people.
Right.
So this is her getting revenge for ancestors who could not get their own revenge. That's how she justifies it. It's sort of like taking out, if you find that don't want to really evoke Godwin's law, but I'm there. But if you find some of Hitler's men are still around, and you hunt them down and kill them. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't really need to justify it because these were Hitler's guys. Oh, it happened X amount of years ago, decades ago. That's irrelevant. Oh, they've got kids and we don't care about their kids and grandkids and blah 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 blah. We're thinking about the people who died, who didn't get to have kids and grandkids and have this cushy life that they're having. But yeah, I mean, because a lot of spots. I've got a buddy in London from Nigeria, and I would definitely run a lot of stuff by him. Far as generally, if it was something in Africa or specifically a Nigerian, he helped me out. I spent a lot of time in Barbados, so I got to know the island, the people, and then I would get people. I would write stuff just regular, like I was doing dialogue, and then I would pass it on to my friends and say, okay, so change this to a Bajan dialect. So the character who's talking, you know what I mean? So right, so if you're from Barbados and you read it, it really feels authentic.
Right.
Because a lot of stuff I would write. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, and that's a great example that you use because the amount of research, we could see that in your writing, the amount of research that you do for a topic, because you're great at showing the under layers to a character. You can make someone angry and sympathetic to someone at the same time, and I think that's such a gift of a writer to show so many different facets of one person, and you have really crowned that facet. I think.
Because I think a lot of characters I write about, I just imagine that most people, I don't write good or evil, and a lot of people live in the gray area. Most of us exist in that gray area where we're neither angels nor devils, but it's just a matter of how gray are you,
Right.
And what's and a big thing is also this is like when you're telling a story, whoever's point of view it's from, almost automatically gets to be the protagonist, regardless of what they're doing. You know what I mean? Because it becomes their story, and so like with Gideon is an assassin, but telling a story from his point of view, and at the same time having him, throw people out of the 60th story of a building in the middle of the UK. And at the same time, when he does it, you feel as if the person who was thrown out the building, they deserve that. So,
exactly.
And then, right, and then it had some personal rules in there. He doesn't kill children, and he doesn't kill women. Now, the antagonist that he's fighting can do all of that. But the main character doesn't, because this guy he can kill 1,000 people who deserves to be killed, but the moment he kicks a puppy, people don't like him anymore.
Right.
So you gotta, you know what I mean? The moment he kicks a puppy, you can't have your characters kicking puppies, man. That's it, But that's that. Early on, I was talking about like being in classes and workshops and blah 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 blah. That's part of that being in and watching other people develop characters and what they can get away with, and then all of a sudden, why didn't I like this character? Well, because on the first page he kicked a puppy. So no matter what he does after that, he's a bad guy. You're not gonna. It don't matter what he does. He kicked the puppy. You know.
Right. Right. And it doesn't really matter what the characters are either that you present, whether it's a like I said, assassin, a hitman, a stripper, a student. You all give you give them all the same I think dedication and the same
I try.
attention.
You know, and sometimes I intentionally search for difficult characters. I did a couple of erotic novels a while back, and just trying to, and it was funny because the reason one of the reasons I did it because I had done this character who was a guy, and he had experiences with women, and nobody chastised him from moving from lover to lover or nobody, you know what I mean? He wasn't called out for it, you know. And actually, the women who actually read the book loved him more. But the moment you write about a woman and she has more than one lover, there's something wrong with her. And so my thing was, okay, I want to write about this character who is not necessarily interested in being tied down to one guy, and have her still remain likable and understandable, and also to have the novel be readable, if you will. And that was the novel Pleasure that I did quite a while ago, you know. And I mean, because I knew going in, I was like, oh, this is challenging. I mean, it was just like it was like, okay, now if I were handling a guy, this would be no problem. I mean, you know, he would just go from here to there, and you know, but
not that hard.
Motivating her, getting inside of her head, and also, you know, it's like one of the first things I did when I created the character was I made her independently wealthy. So that way, no matter who she's with, it doesn't, because, you know, people like to make it about some other motivation. Yeah, she's
it's
like,
about the money,
I'm a rich
it's about
guy,
the status.
But see, because this is what she would do, is like she would be with a guy who had money, but the guy who had money had no idea that I got 10 times more money than he does. He doesn't know because I live a simpler lifestyle.
Right.
He had
and
no
my mother
idea.
had money. My mother had money. My family had money. And we're not the ghetto kids. We're cultured, and I just love that. I love that.
Exactly. I mean, and you know, and all that was intentional. You know, she was from Trinidad, and you know, her mother was bigwig in Hollywood, and you know, and then eventually in the sequel, when she finally came home to her mother's house, you were like, holy Jesus, this is her mama's house.
Really?
You know,
as much as you thought she had, it was still understanding.
The pool in the back, you know, and she's driving around in a simple car, and you know.
Right.
But when she gets to Hollywood and she's hanging out with her mom, it's like all chauffeurs and this and that and blah 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 blah, and still to her, it's still no big deal, you know. It's still no big deal, you know. You know,
and again,
she's done
I think that's one of the things. Well, I was going to say, I think that's one thing that made her so relatable or so likable as a character is that she had all these other resources that she didn't want to use. She could have easily laid on her mom's name or whatever, but she wanted to do it on her own, and I think that was a very great
fact. Do it on her own, That was it.
Right.
Because the thing was like, you know, because she could roll up in the Hollywood, name drop, and just you know, and just like, you know, I'm so and so's daughter, but I ain't trying to do that. You know what I mean? So and then you get her mom who has got all this, and her mom comes down to Atlanta, and they're hiking through the woods and running through the woods, and you know, just hanging out like mom and daughter. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what's really interesting was I don't know if you read. I had this other novel that is called An Accidental Affair. I took her mother, and I showed that her mother had an affair with someone else in another novel. So it's like daughter has secrets, mother has secrets.
Oh, I'm sorry I did miss that one, but I will have it tonight before I go to bed.
Okay, yeah. The main character in James Thick had a thing with Nia's mom, and it was one of those things where it's one of those things where two people are hooking up, but no one is really calling it anything, so you don't really know. You're scared to say, are we boyfriend, girlfriend, or then you know what I mean. Then you see them talking to somebody else, and you think, okay, they're not really serious about me, and then then you realize like, I missed out on that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, yes, I've had some characters. I guess I jokingly call it the Dickey verse because from novel to novel, there's someone you can connect back to other novels from every novel.
Right.
There's no more than maybe six degrees of separation.
Right.
Because even like in the last one, Bad Men, Wicked Women, he lives where Leonard Dubois used to live in Friends and Lovers.
Right.
And they're working for someone who is connected to the pool hall in Thieves' Paradise.
Oh,
going back a whole bunch of books.
Yes.
Yeah, so going back to a whole bunch of books. So and if they're connected to the pool hall, then that means they're connected to scams. They're connected to Gideon. So yeah.
If we could switch gears a little bit from that project to the Black Panther series you did, the 6-piece special series
Storm?
you did a few years back. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That was,
Marvel called up. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's actually what I was going to ask you. How did that happen?
Oh, yeah. Marvel contacted my my agent back then. I remember because I was working on Chasing Destiny at the time. Okay. And then I talked to them, and they were trying to. We didn't know what project I would work on, but they threw out you could do a Spider-Man evergreen, which means just a general Spider-Man story that could fit in any time, or Captain America. And then while I was thinking on it, they called back and said, because they were thinking about having the Black Panther and Storm get married. And they wanted to know if I wanted to do that because it was supposed to be a 5-issue miniseries. Them meeting as teenagers when he did his walkabout, and she was still a little street urchin, blah 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 blah. And I look back at what had been done by this other writer, Chris Claremont. I think he had barely mentioned on a page of them meeting and going separate ways, and then he did another one where the antagonist I used in there was called the Bull. But he was also mentioned in another book with T'Challa and Storm. So I just kind of pulled out that antagonist and beefed him up, gave him a brother, blah, 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 and, and created that adventure, which it was really, really cool because it was, it was oh gosh, it was one of those things where it's like you get this assignment, and I was just kind of like, it was going so smoothly, but at the same time I was really scared because I was thinking, well, what if they don't like it? You know what I mean? But I sent in a few pages. The editor, because the stuff he did was just like, it's like the issue had to be, say, like 27, 25 pages, and there would be 30 pages, but he would and then he would cut it down to boom, and they just told me to just keep going, and it worked out. It worked out. I wanted to write about Storm from the point of view of she's coming into her powers, and since her powers were external, meaning this, it's like when she's upset, it controls the weather. So I tried to imagine what that would be like, because it's not like you're like Johnny Storm and then you go flame on and you know, and you go, oh, I get it.
And it just happens.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, right. So, and hers was triggered by her emotion, the storms. I mean, the lightning, the this, the that, and so I took it. I was like, so for someone spiritual, that could be like, okay, I'm doing something bad. The gods are angry at me. But then later on, you realize that this is your power. So that's how I did it in the beginning. She would freak out. She was trying to run from her antagonist, and lightning would strike, and she thought the gods were after her. And then when the winds lifted her up, she thought the gods were, you know, were not trying to make her fly. She thought the gods were throwing her. You know what I mean? Until she realized that this is my power, and I can control this. You know, I had to. You know, she had to learn how to control it.
Right.
Yeah. Because that's sort of the way I am. Because I was just trying to imagine if these were my powers, and I get upset and it just starts to rain, and I wouldn't necessarily think that I caused that. You know, I would have to. You know what I mean? So that was the take on it, and then and she meets T'Challa, and he's. And it's that the new boy, and oh my God, he's oh my God, I just said something rude to him. He's a king, you know. And then threw in there was another girl there who really had the hots for him. She was, you know, she thought she was more deserving of him than because I created Storm. She was tall for her age. She was lanky. She was awkward. And it's like everybody else who's written her is just totally written her as just being just, and I get it, you know, just she's just totally beautiful. But for me, I was like, well, she's, you know, but I'm like, it's just, you remember when you were like 12 and 13, and the girl who was taller than everybody, how awkward she felt.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're not looking at her and thinking supermodel.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, so that was kind of like the way I wrote her. You know, she just felt she was tall, she was lanky, she wasn't. She was 13. She wasn't the best at anything that she did yet. You know, so I just kind of put her in that. Yeah, I just kind of put her in that that teenage space. You know, and then boy shows up and hormones show out. You know.
With the success of the movie and everything, and with the superhero genre as a whole just blowing up right now, how did you feel about the movie? How did you feel about the movie?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, you know, because there's been so many writers have put their hands on Black Panther, Storm, and everybody who shows in. You know, it's funny because sometimes superheroes' powers depend on who is writing them at the moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it varies with writers. You know what I mean? So I love what they did. I mean, I really love what they did, man. And you know, and just on a personal level, watching this film, and it's got so much melanin in it, you know, and there's no white savior, and you know, and because I was surprised that I was like, oh my gosh, Claude didn't make it to the end of the film.
Right.
Claude was gone quick. I was like, okay, so you know, because usually they would have made the Eric part would have been over as quick as the Claude part, and Claude would have been the antagonist the rest of the film, you know. But they
and the
did,
special
man.
agent would have. Yeah, the special agent, I can't remember his name, but traditionally he would have been the savior at the end of the movie. Right,
but he wasn't, man. And and this is something I really love too. The girls in the film, even though they had no superpowers, whenever there was conflict, they ran toward the problem. They never ran away from the problem. They never ran away from the problem. No, they weren't dependent. Well, actually, it was like the.
They led the fight.
The guys in the film. oh man, yeah, it was like T'Challa or whatever. The guys in the film, they need. I mean, oh man, the women were just boss, man. It was like the guys were leaders because the women was like, you know what, we'll let y'all be leaders, but really we running stuff.
Right. Well, with that being said, do you think there will be another project? Do you see yourself doing another Black Panther project down the line?
Oh yeah, I would love to, man. I mean, I don't know what it would be at this point, but it was just Marvel is just a great family. So far as the stuff they have, in my opinion, they have this the way they laid stuff out. They got clarity. DC is just all over the place.
Right.
DC kind of, to me, is just sort of relied on name recognition. Like you got Superman, you got Batman, and so everybody gonna go see the movie because it's Superman and Batman. And but then you get in and Marvel's got this plot that's just rolled through.
It's so deep and layered.
What, 6, 7, 8 years? Yeah. I mean, it's just and check it out. So you do this movie, The Avengers, right? You bring in all these superheroes. You don't have to introduce anybody because everything's established. No origins, nothing. You just brought in everybody. There was no reminder of what their powers were because at this point you should know.
Right.
I mean, and oh gosh, man, it was just like, wow. It was, and it seemed like it felt like a sequel to everybody's movie. Everybody in the Marvel universe who'd ever had a movie, this felt like a sequel to their movie.
Right,
so,
and everybody had their own place.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Everybody had their own place, man. I mean, up to the Thanos finger snap, man. You're like, wow, man. It was like, wow, see who's going to survive. I mean, it was. I mean, and oh my God, they came in and Thanos was just kicking butt from the beginning to the end. I mean, there was no, because people are watching thinking something's going to happen in the last minute and everything's going to turn around and that's the thing so beautiful about you watching it and you're going, they lost.
Yeah.
And you were okay with that. I mean, you know what I mean, because something else is coming, but you guys. They lost. I mean, this whole movie, everybody lost. Everybody.
Right.
Everybody.
There was no winner. Even the winner lost.
Man. Oh, yeah, man. Everybody. Oh, yeah. Thanos had to give up his daughter. Because in the novel, he was trying to, way back in the day, he was trying to impress Lady Death. So I'm not sure if that's still in there or if they took that out. Yeah, because he was trying to impress Lady Death back then.
In the next one. Yeah, there's a hint that they may bring that up in the next one. Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happened with Captain Marvel. Coming in. So, yeah, see what happened with Captain Marvel coming in, which is, oh gosh, I grew up on the other Captain Marvel, the one that was drawn by Jim Starlin. There was a guy, the one who that Captain Marvel died of cancer. Yeah. Right. Yeah. With Drax and everybody else, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they've got a lot of source material, man. I mean, they got a.
Right.
But you know what? But it's in Marvel's hands, and Marvel handles it extremely well. If you look at anybody else who's done a superhero movie, they really suck. I mean, compared to. It's sort of like, you know what, let's let the people who created it do the movie. Because everybody else, they just don't get it,
They don't have that passion.
Well, you know what, it's like they tend to Hollywood stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's or you have source material, everything is already laid out. And then somebody comes in and decides for their own ego, they want to change stuff. So like even when I did Storm, I stayed with what had been created. I I used the same character. I used some of the same. I created one character, a couple of characters, and then a justification for Storm to be where she was in this new place. But it's a lot of the cats they don't respect and I guess respect is the only word I have, but they don't respect the source material. They decide they want to come in and just because you get a lot of cats, they haven't really had a passion for comics. So they don't really, these cats here, they got a passion for the comics. They got the backstory. They know how to blend just this much of this, that. They got the vision. You got the vision in, done extremely well, very quickly. At the same time, you got another story going on. So the layering is just amazing.
We talked about Black Panther. We talked about Gideon series. We got Friends and Lovers, Cheaters, which was my first book that I read of yours.
Yeah.
And actually started an argument with my wife at the time. She was like, "What are you doing? Research now? Or what's going on?" So. But
you know what's really interesting is, and I think a lot of those stories, they still hold up. The only thing that's really changed is technology. The interaction between people still hasn't changed. You know what I mean? People are still looking for love. People still get bad relationships. People still, it's it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is, and it's not just the black culture. It's every culture has movies about the same thing, just done in a slightly different way. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I noticed. I mean, it's like Argentina. You got the boy meets girls. You got Bollywood, the boy meets girl. You got Nigeria, Nollywood. And I look at all these different products. You know what I mean? There are cultural differences, but at the same time, it's you're still seeing a part of the human condition that's still driven by that need to have a partner, to reproduce, to be in love, to try to settle down, and it's just different places where you're dealing with. I think capitalism has a whole lot to do with it, because well, I mean, it's just like this. I mean, because you're judged on your ability to make money for a lot of people. So he's nothing because he don't make a lot of money. But at the same time, you get the guy who really has no character, but he makes a lot of money, so we're going to go that way. It's that. I mean, and I'm not sure how to describe it or what to call it, but it's that. But to me, I think it's the influence of capitalism. I mean, Donald Trump couldn't. R. Kelly. I mean, without take away fame and money, they couldn't get away with, all this stuff that they get away with. People become their yes man because people are rich. Right. A poor man ain't got no yes man like that. I'm just saying.
All right, I know I've had you on here long. I'm sorry.
Say it again.
Oh, I said I'm sorry. I possibly, I don't know if I went over my time. I know we've had you on the line for a while now. I actually have a gift for you as a fan.
Okay.
I have a company called Marley Box. We make accessory kits like shot glasses and things like that. And I'm going to make my company make one for you. I'm going to give it to GeHolla so he can, handle the logistics. But I do have one question going out the door. With all the work that you've done, what is the definitive EJD book, or have we seen it yet?
That's really hard to answer because on one hand I would say Gideon series, And then on the other hand, I would say cheaters. Then on the other hand, I would say milking my coffee. It just kind of, I really like what I did with an accidental affair. You know what I mean? So it's really, for me, I can't call it. I would need someone who's not in the forest and can see the trees to give their opinion. Yeah, because I think, and you know, and in some ways, you know, like as I said before, everything is so connected to me. You know, this one is connected to this book. This moves over to this. Yeah, I can't really. If I had done just one book, which book would I have wanted that to be? Maybe that's the question. If I had just done one book, couldn't be Get In because that's the series. Probably something early on, and I'm not sure. Maybe Milking My Coffee. Maybe Milking My Coffee.
Okay. That was a great.
Because it just has a lot of. I've got New York. I've got down south. I've got a black man dealing with just being a black man and race, perception, friendship, betrayal. I packed a lot into that book. I packed a lot into it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, sir, for being on the call with me and answering my question. Like I said, this will be a day I'll remember forever. I will continue to support. I will continue to buy your books. Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much.
I appreciate that.
And you will be getting a box from Marley Box soon.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. I'm going to set that up for you. I got one last person on the line. Let's see if they're still there.
Okay, go ahead.
We'll conclude. Kayla, you still on the line with us?
Yes.
Kayla?
Hello.
Go ahead, Kayla.
Hey, Kayla.
How are y'all today? Hi.
I'm well. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. Just out here in California at the end of, I think we just had 4 storms back to back. We had a different storm every day, so it's been looking like Seattle down here.
Well, I think one of those storms came this way because it just literally started raining over here.
Are you saying? And it just stopped here, so I don't know if it's going to start back again. So I don't know if it's going to start back. But hopefully you've been listening in.
I have. I've been listening in for the last, I would say, hour and a half.
Okay. I get long-winded.
My question that I had, you actually answered it already. So I'm going to ask a question that I typically ask all of the people that come on the line. What is your favorite?
Okay.
Well, I ask this question because I have my own business in baking baked goods. So what is your favorite baked good if you had to have one?
What is my favorite what?
Baked good. Like,
say it again?
What's your favorite treat to have? What's your favorite sweet?
Oh, my gosh. Well, key lime pie, cupcakes. Oh, my gosh. Are you serious? Oh, oatmeal raisin cookies. Oatmeal raisin cookies. You have no idea. Me and oatmeal raisin cookies, they do not last in my house. Me and oatmeal raisin cookies, man. You have no idea. A cup of tea, oatmeal raisin cookies, it's a wrap.
What kind of tea?
I do I've got some Earl Grey right now. I had some real. This thing is saying 10 seconds. What does that mean?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Yeah, this thing is saying 10 seconds. Is it about to cut off?
No, I don't think so.
No, you're good. It's still recording.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Gosh, there was this place called Tivana that it used to, I think they closed. And, oh, God, I used to love to go in and get just the different citrus teas. I would get green teas there too, but the citrus with the berries, and it just smells so good, man. And would make it up, let it steep, and the aroma before you sipping it, and then just putting my little honey in there. You're making me hungry now. I'm hungry now. Yeah. But yeah,
two of my favorites. I know two of my favorites. Go ahead.
What are yours?
Two of my favorite teas are the jasmine tea, and the chamomile.
I love that too. Yep, I haven't done chamomile so much. I have it here, but I've always done the jasmine is real good. The jasmine is real good. I like that. I like that a lot. Because my agent will send me packs of tea because he knows I love tea. And let me see what do I have here today. I have I just got English breakfast tea and one I haven't opened. Oh, just an Earl Grey, basic Earl Grey. Okay. I don't like Earl Grey as much because I like something that's got a little flavor and less harsh to it, if you know what I mean. Yes. And I've got an English tea, but yeah. But oh gosh, you give me a flavor tea. I'm just like sipping that all day, especially a day like today. Man, what? Oh man. Yeah, me and oatmeal raisin cookies, man. Oh man, it's so funny. It's like I cannot buy. Even if I stop by there's a bakery down at the bottom of the hill. If I stop by and get like 3 or 4 oatmeal raisin cookies, thinking, oh, this is going to last me a few days. Oh, please, within an hour, they're gone. It's just part of my brain just says you must eat all the cookies until they're gone. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as saving. And if I don't eat one, check it. I wake up in the middle of the night and go to the kitchen. There's a cookie in here somewhere. We must destroy it. Just eat the cookie. But that's me and oatmeal raisin. Chocolate chip cookies not so much, but oatmeal raisin, man, what? I have no idea why I love oatmeal raisin cookies so much, but yeah. But I love those a lot. Oh man, especially they're a little soft, a little boom, and then you got your tea, and oh man, it's a wrap.
That's really good. Oatmeal raisin cookies. Okay, I don't too much
I'm gonna have to put. You don't?
I don't.
I'm gonna have
I'd rather have a chocolate chip
cookie. Oh gosh, man, get the what's it? The double chocolate? Yeah. Because see the chocolate cookies, because the chocolate's got the caffeine in it, and those I will eat those and I get all wired. So, but the oatmeal raisin cookies don't get me as wired up. So, but yeah. Oh, okay. But I'll do a chocolate chip cookie in the morning. Whoo, man, I think those are about the only two. I don't really like sugar cookies. Say it again.
Mm-mm. I said you'll be good for the rest of the day with one chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah, I eat it, but I'm not. But it doesn't get me the way oatmeal raisin does. Because there's a brand of chocolate chip cookies that I do like. It's at the grocery store. They're little small cookies. They're in a nice little bag, and I can't think of the name of them. But those are really good. I like those. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And I bring home that bag. I do go through that bag, too, so. Which is really funny. It's like there's nothing sweet in the house right now. And I'm talking about all this sweet stuff, and now I'm craving sweet. Oh, my gosh.
Sounds like
nothing
a trip
sweet
to
in the
the
house.
now.
Wow. Yeah, I grab something while I'm out later, but yeah, but that's about it. I mean, that is real, real chill, man. You get that, sit up at the computer, you writing, sipping, chewing, just kind of get into that little that space, that zone. You know what I mean? You're like you're in your space and you're comfortable and that'd be real
helps.
good. That's real. Oh, it helps a lot, man. Helps a lot. So helps a heck of a lot. But yeah, see, you got me. All right, I'll be down at the bottom of the hill buying cookies in a minute.
Okay, well, with that being one of your chill, what was the book, or if you can remember, the book that you wrote while you was chill eating oatmeal raisin cookies?
Oh gosh. Probably Cheaters.
Cheaters.
Probably Cheaters. I was still living in this area called Phillips Ranch, and I had my computer was upstairs in this little loft, and I had this big, kind of big desk up there, and I would just sit up there for hours. I would get up. I used to, just like if I was getting up to go to work for when I was an engineer, I would get out of bed, brush my teeth, and then just walk upstairs, turn the computer on, and start working. I would be up there all day, get my little tea, get my little whatever. Because sometimes I would work. I would be so into whatever I was working on that the whole day would just go by, and I wouldn't even realize, like, geez, it's like 4 or 5 o'clock, and I've been up here since 5 or 6 in the morning, But I was really comfortable. I mean, I would be in the zone, and the characters were speaking to me, and was sorting all of that out. So yeah. But yeah, so definitely awesome. That, man. So definitely Cheaters. Because I'm just trying to think. Because I went back to New York to do research for Milk in My Coffee. Cheaters was at home. Friends and Lovers was when I lived down on Stocker. Yeah, I didn't have any money then. And then
you were writing books, though.
Yeah, but that's being hungry is a motivator, man. I'm gonna tell you, being hungry is a motivator. And also I did it at that point I didn't really have a lot of money, so it kept me in the house. It kept me busy, so I wasn't just sitting around the house doing nothing all day because I was in between jobs. I mean, I would go out, look for jobs, blah, 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 and then, that would only take a part of the day. Even if I did it every day, it only took a part of the day. And then, you got all those other hours, It's like, wow. And I think I was saying it earlier, it was one of those things that it made me feel like I was being productive, even if it was just for myself. And then eventually I had close friends who knew I was quote unquote writing, and then they wanted to read what I was writing, and then I would show it to them, and they would. Just imagine as I'm working on Sister, you're getting chapter by chapter. Okay, give me the next chapter. Give me the next chapter. I was like, really? This is interesting to you? Yeah, give me the next part. I'm like, okay, so all right. And I would do this thing with my friends. I even did it back then, where if I were stuck, I would ask them, what did they think was going to happen next? And whatever they said, I would make a list, and that would be what could not happen next, because that would be predictable. So I had to outthink. Yeah, I mean, because I would sit there some days going, hey, I would go through all this, okay, this, cliche. So what is what's, you know what I mean? And then I would come up with something that was like, okay, this is different. Let's see if this will work. And then I would work on it, and then I would give it to my friends, and thinking like, okay, they're gonna say, you expect them to go like, this sucks. Then they would go, this is really good. I was like, really? I was like, okay. Well, you know what I mean? Because you're so your relationship with your work is kind of different than the relationship of the reader. You know, you're creating and blah blah blah, and you know, it was no big deal. They said if my friend said it sucked, then I would just delete those 2 pages and think of something else. You know, because I've actually had friends where I had this friend in London. I would write stuff, and she would read it and slide it back to me and say, "You can do better." I'm like, "Okay."
Our friends will be our biggest critics.
But you know what? But it's that you rather have that in the beginning than your book to be published and some big reviewer saying he could have done better. You know,
right? Very true.
And you know what I mean? You know, you can do better. You know, and I would, because sometimes you do get tired and you maybe get a little lazy, but you know, yeah.
Well, it was really, really nice talking to you, and I love your book.
Thank you so much.
I've read numerous of different ones that you have out since I would say back in high school, and I have to catch this new one that you came out with last year because I have not read that one yet.
Bad Men and Wicked Women.
I'm going to see what that one's about. Yes.
Yeah, check out Bad Men, Wicked Women, and right after that one is Before We Were Wicked. So hopefully those 2 titles won't be too confusing. The last one is Bad Men and Wicked Women, and then the one after that, which will be out in a couple of months, is Before We Were Wicked. Same characters.
And when does it come out?
The first one came out last April, and Before We Were Wicked comes out this April.
Okay, cool. Okay, and again, my name is Kayla Worrell. As well as on social media is Kayla Worrell. I go on here as KB.
Let me find it right. Okay, Kayla.
Keyyrell. Yes, Keyla. Keyla. Is WORRELL.
Okay. All right, got it. Cool. Thanks so much,
That is
Kayla.
my social media. You're welcome. You have a great rest of your day.
You too, ma'am. I'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
Okay.
I appreciate you,
Bye-bye.
That is going to be it of everyone. I'd like to thank everybody for calling in today, being a part of this awesome and wonderful show.
Thank you so much.
No, I thank you. I really do. If you can, give us your social media and your website. Let's make sure I got it correct. I have it pulled up, but I want to make sure that this is the correct spelling and everything. So.
But which one? The Instagram is Eric Jerome Dickey, or I got 2 of them. It's Eric Jerome Dickey, and the other one I think is Eric J. Dickey on IG. Okay. And for the others, you can just hit me through my website, www.ericjeromedickey.com. That will link you over to everything else.
Cool. I appreciate that. I do thank you for being on the line. Thank you for calling in. I have one more final thing, if I may ask of you, if I may.
Go ahead.
The time capsule part of the show, where you just wrap up all of your knowledge and your wisdom, and however long you want it to be or however short, it doesn't really matter. It's left up to you to just leave the people, because, you know, the greatest thing that we all have once we leave from here is our legacy. And you're going to leave a monstrous legacy that's going to be able to be seen 1,000 years from now. Just like how we can look back 1,000 years ago and see all of the great writers back then, whether it be Aristotle, Socrates and all these people, which were really black people, but we'll talk about that another time.
Right.
So we get, a good synopsis of understanding of who we are as of right now and your legacy as you live, because one day I'm pretty sure they're going to make a documentary or a movie about you. That way they can come into this interview. I think they will. They can come into this interview and they can just take your words and just take them and exert them into the movie or into the documentary or into the docuseries and get a better understanding of who you are. So whatever wisdom you may have or information or knowledge or inspiration, whatever you want to do, if you just leave that for the people.
Oh, right. Just off the top of my head, it's really basic. I mean, don't expect anyone to invest more in you than you're willing to invest in yourself. Because because a lot of people, we want these, we want to achieve these goals. I meet a lot of people who want to achieve goals, but they don't want to get up and do the work. And they want a guarantee. And the thing is about it, regardless of what you're doing, that there isn't any guarantee. You got to have the passion, the discipline, and the determination. Discipline and determination will get you a long, long way. You can't measure your success, your rate of success, by someone else's, because it's sort of like being in a marathon. Take off, you got everyone's moving in the same direction, but people are moving at different rates, at different speeds. A lot of people will finish the race, but you may not finish number one with the Kenyans, And life is funny because, like in that race, as you're taking off, and this is from actually, I ran a couple of marathons, and it was like this where I remember taking off and moving faster than someone who was older than me, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna beat this guy in, and then I get about halfway through, and I see people who had took off and left me, and I'm passing them. Because I'm still staying on my pace. I'm staying on my pace. I'm not running anybody else's pace. And when I get closer to the end of the race, I'm still moving. That dude that I thought I was going to beat in, he goes breezing by me. That's kind of like how life is. You know what I mean? It's that stay in the race, find your pace. Don't try to jump on anyone else's pace if that's what makes you uncomfortable. And I see a lot of people do that. You got to know, because like I said earlier in the interview, my pace was back to first junior college, taking writing classes, to UCLA at my own pace. I didn't look for anything to happen overnight, and there was this thing that happened that when I finally got the phone call, I had done the classes, I had done the work, I was ready for that conversation. So when an editor called and we talked about editing and we talked about writing and we talked about technical stuff that, that a lot of people really, take for granted. You know what I mean? It could be something just as simple as foreshadowing or dialogue. I mean, because some people have had conversations and I want to be a writer. They don't even know what dialogue is, so you're not ready yet. You got to do the work. Do the work. Do it at your pace. Do what's comfortable for you. And again, discipline and determination. That's how everybody wins. And thanks a lot.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for being on the show, ladies and gentlemen. That was Eric Jerome Dickey. Y'all make sure y'all check him out on his website address. It's ericjeromedickey.com. Please make sure you support something, buy something, like something, don't bootleg everything. I know how we do. We've been doing it back in the day.
The bootleg generation. Man.
We are that generation, we don't like to pay for nothing, but y'all make sure y'all please support.
If they could bootleg weaves, I'm just saying, that's a, but we're not going on with that, but that's a reality of writers. You can have 100 people read your book, but you've only sold 5 books. Because they're passing them around. So you can have 100 people read your books, but you only sold 5 books. So it's like, wow, okay.
What about the opposite reverse of that? What about the person or the publishers or the production company actually leaking the work? And sometimes doesn't it work that way too as well? Like if you leak certain things, it'll cause like an interest.
No, I don't know. I don't really see it. I mean, I'm not. Okay. I can see. If you're J.K. Rowling and, you got Harry Potter coming out and then somehow they leak something that could be a page from Harry Potter, you know what I mean? Okay. But there's no profit in leaking their entire body of work. I mean, if that many people have access to it for free, then it's worth nothing. supply and demand. If it's out there for free, that's what killed the. That's why it's like, it was Michael. I'm not sure who took over, but who had the largest number of I guess LPs or CDs sold back at that time, which was 30-some million. Once the internet age entered and everything was being leaked, remember you had albums were being leaked, and that was a wrap. That was it. It's like your stuff was leaked. It was a wrap. I mean, it's like all of a sudden, it's like it's on the internet, and 100,000 people just downloaded it for free. That was what's the sell now?
That's true. I agree.
I'm just saying,
right.
what's the sell? It's and I'm sure that they measure some stuff that they're going to probably give away, but it's a tough call. It's a tough call. But because if you're giving it away, it's like how do you pay your rent? How do you keep your lights on? How does your labor of love generate income? Because you still, again, you're living in the heart of capitalism. You gotta, you gotta eat. You gotta,
No, that's true. That's right.
I'm just saying, and if that is all you do, you don't want it to be the equivalent of like, every Wednesday night I'm doing open mic night poetry for free, and and finger snaps are enough to feed me. You got to pay some bills, man. I'm just saying, you got to pay some bills, man. That's just the reality of where we live. Of how we live. You've got to find some way to take care of yourself. And it's two ways to do it. Either you find a way to do it for yourself, or you latch on to somebody else and they're doing it for you.
I agree. Also, one thing,
in my opinion, that's it. Huh?
Mm-hmm. Oh, also,
and what you latch on, it could be another person, it could be the government. But you're latching on to something that's because you got to get food. You got to eat every day. Well, every other day at least. At
least often, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying. It's like it's nice to eat every day, but I'm just saying. But every other day, okay, you get a little hungry. You just all right. It's and that's how a lot of people live. A lot of people not eating every day, man. So I'm just saying,
No, you're right. I see them in the city every day. You're absolutely right. And I eat healthy too as well. So you're right.
Oh, man. Well, because the first thing is to get rid of the missed meal cramps. First you deal with not feeling hungry, then you deal with eating healthy. Because the first thing is, okay, I can't concentrate while I'm hungry, so get me some McDonald's. All right, now my next meal might be a little bit better, but I needed that 99-cent whatever I can get from McDonald's right now, just so I don't feel hungry. But anyway,
that's true.
All right, man.
That's true. I was going to tell you one thing that was stuck on my spirit to tell you. Whenever you get done with all your great works in writing, create us a black superhero too. Make sure you put that in the works.
Ooh, I got to do that.
Please
I got to do that.
Even a comic, a book. I don't care if it's a short story and you come out with it and it just come out on Amazon Prime and Netflix.
Uh-huh.
Please, that's in my spirit. My spirit will not let you go. Please create that.
All right.
Because you already know a lot of these superhero comic movies are really based upon us. Like, it really is when you get down to the science of it. You already know. So
all right.
I appreciate you.
I'll do that.
And we're going to send you a Marley box,
it.
too. I thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks for being on the show today.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks a lot. You guys have a great day.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all make sure y'all check out EricJeromeDickey.com. Go to the social media, buy some, subscribe to some, tune in, and we are out. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot the name of GeHolla. It's not Gula. It's not GeHolla. Not GeHolla, but GeHolla. You can find this radio interview on GeHolla.com, and we are out.